had a wild appearance, and I believe we had a crash. But other than that, I think we are ready to go. We are ready to slip back into Tales from the Big Damn Verse. But before we recap, before we talk about things that have come and gone, we need to talk about things that happened 12 years ago. For you see, here in the Big Damn Verse, stories are much bigger than simple people or even simple planets or even simple verses. And as verses come and go from the earth that was until this, the new home of humanity, land has always been a very precious commodity. In fact, the comedian Will Rogers once said, "Buy land, because God's not making any more of it." And that bleeds forward from the earth that was here to the Big Damn Verse. Land is where it is. Land holds precious things. On top of it, horses and cows can graze beneath it. Gold and iron can be dug and found. But land also represents power. Just as Will Rogers said, God's not making any more of it. And if you have enough of it, a god you will be. And so we cut to 12 years ago. And as we see a piece of this land, a moon, if you will, barren, devoid of any of the surface life. We don't see the trees, we don't see any rivers or lakes or grasses or plains. But this is not one of those that shows its worth above the ground. It is land that shows its worth beneath. For this moon is rich in ores and minerals that will provide the core, provide the Alliance with much needed vehicles, much needed munitions, much needed weapons. But plopped on top of this lovely moon, just spitting distance from the planet Persephone, is a beautiful space yacht. Top of the line, bells and whistles, something that Lando Calrissian would see and enjoy. But that's neither here nor there, as that is a long time ago. But as we see here on the Big Damn Verse, on this moon and in this planet, this yacht contains two very important people just inside the airlock. One of them, a tall, stately man, if he can be called such, with close-cropped gray hair and a thin gray mustache, standing between 6'3" and 6'5", wearing a resplendent Atmos suit, helmet, underneath his arm like the early Saturn rocket pilots. And as he turns, he looks at his wife, a beautiful woman. The love in his eyes is evident as he stares at Lo Jiaoli. "Oh, this is it. This is it, darling. I can smell it out there. I can see it and I can smell it. I don't care what those geo-surveys say. I'm walking out there. I'm going to pace the land like my forefathers used to do. I'm going to find that they paced it and found oil in Texas. I'm going to pace this rock, and I'm going to find what's going to make us known forever." What do you think, baby?
The whole moon. That's quite the investment. Can't believe we are so fortunate. How did I get so lucky to marry a man as cunning in business as you, Phil?
Well, the Alliance needs things, darling. It needs things, and I'm a man that can get things that are needed. And as payment for said gifts bestowed upon the powers that be, we were given this moon. I never bought it. Deed in hand, it is ours. And when we hit any part in this verse from the streets of Persephone, we'll be able to look up. You and the kids can see it and point and say, that's mine. Who else can say that, darling?
No one I know. She's gonna give him a big kiss and say, kind of just adjust his suit a little bit, his Atmos suit. I am so glad I remembered to pick up your new designer Atmos suit from the cleaners before we left. It looks fantastic on you, but I bet it'll look even better on the floor later.
Looks good. I look young, right? Looking young?
Super young.
That's right. Looking young. Got me a young, beautiful wife. Got me a goddamn moon. We should put our names on it.
Yes.
Landers. Big enough to see at Persephone. And when we
Perfect.
land,
Even
we
better
just point to
advertising.
it. Yep.
Every ship that passes by will see it on their way in.
See it and know. See it and know. Darling, my family, the knows. And I know there's gold out there. I know there's minerals out there. I know there's everything the Alliance needs right beneath that surface, but my family's always known. Never make mistakes. And you were the best choice I've ever made in my whole life. Falling in with you. And he takes you and Mr. Landers kisses you again.
Mm-hmm.
And when he pulls back, he smiles and he puts the helmet and seals it across the top of the suit and walks into the airlock. Now, from the airlock here, you can see right beside there's a nice large window and a panel that extends out and shows the surface of the moon beyond the space yacht. And with a hiss and a slight pop in your ears, you can tell that Phil has opened the outside of the hatch and he's walked down onto the... He walks down and you see him kind of do a Neil Armstrong where he comes down and hits the dust of the moon and he turns around and...
I give a little wave and I yell and come, be careful out there.
Absolutely, darling. The nose knows. And he turns around and you see him kind of do a low gravity hop as he starts hopping down the towards a lower valley and a rise, as he is in fact walking the land or pacing the land as they did back on the earth that was. And as he's hopping, he stops for a moment and the helmet shoots about 20 feet into the air. And you see him stop, and as he turns around, the eyes, naked to the elements in the vacuum of space, look through the glass of the yacht directly at Lo Jiali, and you see his head cave in on itself as his body falls and starts to drift, lowly, no longer linked to the planet with his grav boots if they've been shut off by the depressurization, and he slowly starts to drift away. What do we see from Lo Jiali?
She kind of like watches for a minute. Well, I suppose I should steer the yacht over, pick up the corpse. I should also sue the dry cleaners for negligence and emotional damage. That's always a good one. She'll get behind the driver's seat of the yacht, kind of go over and use like the survey claws to kind of just pull the body back into the pressure lock.
And as the body is pulled back into the pressure lock, as this moment 12 years ago comes to pass, as it already has, we spin from the surface of the moon through cycles and seasons, 12 in fact, until we see nearby Persephone. We drill down into the eaves down docks, into the cargo hold of the Courtesan, the Firefly transport. And there we see the man known as Badger, eyes drop, mouth open as he stands and watches Lo Jiali walk into the cargo bay. And he says, Miss Lo Jiali, what are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing here? That's my moon. No.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Take me out to the black turn back. Burn the land, boil the sea. You can't take the sky from me. There's no place I can be since I've found serenity. And you can't take the sky from me.
Ni hao, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Apparently, OBS decided that it was going to wipe out a couple of my frames, but we're back. We do have a couple intros that we normally don't do in the middle of the show coming in, but I wanted to make sure that everybody realizes that below me, Eric is not here today, so I gave you a beautiful picture of his character Bai, in which you can look at and drink in, and we will Jaeger Bai accordingly until Eric gets back. We wish him a safe trip. Also, next week we have a special 12 noon start because we have our first big damn guest star. So whenever we have those, we like to extend our shows a little bit. We'll be starting at noon and going as far as we can. Probably not till 4, but at least 3.5 hours, something like that. So we have a nice special one for you next week. Lord Conti will be the big guest star, so make sure you check in. Now, also, you can help the crew with donations, as there are only 4 of them this week, and there aren't 5. So you can look down below for donations for plot points. Also, if we reach the bit goal or the monthly donation goal, they will also get bounced up accordingly with Big Damn Hero dice and leveling up bonuses. So with all of that, without any further ado, I will tell Felix this, because of what Bai has chosen as part of his leveling up between 2 episodes, you can use his 2 plot points for this episode.
Aww.
Yes. So
Aww.
Can I ask Greg another specific technical question? Like, I know the plot points and stuff like that, but you said that we'd run a little longer because there was a special guest. If I just pay random people in my family to come on, can we run for an extra 2 hours every week? Like, is that doable?
Is it only $75 to get an extra episode? Like, all right, I'm in. Who wants to play? I got you. I will bankroll Big Damn guest stars so we never stop playing.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's just jump into all this as we see. So to recap the events of what occurred last week, as the crew of the Courtesan, the Firefly class transport, touched down on Persephone, they went about the business of acquiring a new job, replenishing supplies, and just visiting the Earth side of Persephone. They split off into separate groups, with Felix and Harriet going off in search of the new job. The doctor, Bai, and Lo Jiaoli, along with her new ward, Elizabeth, went off to buy clothing, to get new medical supplies, and refresh the protein stocks and everything inside of the Courtesan. However, as is wont in an episode of Firefly, and thus an episode of Tales from the Big Damn Verse, a normal day is never that in this here neck of the nape. So as they were going about, they realized that 1, Lo Jiaoli was being followed, and that 2, Harriet and Felix had been set up by none other than Badger, who was looking to get everyone away from the Courtesan so he could lay claim to it himself. And as Harriet and Felix returned to the Courtesan, and as they walked in through the front door, at least Harriet did, they were met with a formal situation where a crate had been turned into a dinner table with a tablecloth across it and Badger sitting on the far side. When Harriet walked in, Badger told Harriet that this was now his ship and that she would be doing as he said. But meanwhile, Felix, who doesn't like to use the obvious route, climbed the nose of the Firefly and entered the ship through the roof. As he was coming in from the cockpit, he got to the second level above on the cargo bay and realized that there was a large explosive planted into the main fuel line from the engine room to the in-atmo rockets and the bulb in the back. Now, with all of that being said, Felix did what he thought was best, jumped into the cockpit, and took off. But just before he did that, Lo Jiali pulled up, jumped out, came into the Firefly, and was greeted with Badger going white, standing up and saying, "Miss Lo Jiali, what are you doing here?" And let's recap what you said before I went to the ill-fated intro.
Well, that's my moon out there, and you're in my parking space. Chirp, chirp.
So as he's sitting and as all of this goes down in a millisecond, Harriet, you're kind of in between everybody. Dr. Rutherford, where are you with all of this going down?
I was there as well. I was next to the captain. I still have the item in my hands, and I'm just kind of looking between everyone as well.
Right. And we had Bai, who was outside, and we're going to say that Bai, I believe, the last known position that Eric gave him, he came up and was standing just inside the personnel door. So as that's where we're kind of going to keep Bai as the last movement, and we'll Jaeger him when we need to. But with that, outside, the rockets on the in-atmo thrusters fire. The personnel door does not close as the Firefly lurches into the Persephone air. What would everyone like to do? As Badger is taken completely by surprise, his men have no idea what to do. He is not issuing any orders as the arrival of Lo Jiali and now going off into the air. He still holds the kill switch in his hand, but he is making no moves to activate it.
I am gonna cockily walk over to the communications thing. I'm gonna slap on that button. I'm gonna go, "Oh, honey, why don't you just sit that down for a second and come on downstairs? We're having a shindig. Bring something to drink. Miss Lo Jiali, are you thirsty, sweetie? Can I get you something? Anything?"
A drink would be lovely. Thank you.
I am on it right now. Bring a drink, sweetheart Felix. Thank you.
So Felix, having absolutely no idea what's going on down below, is going to jump on the comms and simply state that this is your captain speaking. We have an explosive device attached to the main fuel line. So Badger, buddy, old pal, I'm going to let you know right now that if you blow that, you are going to fall very hard like the rest of us. And while I'm in the cockpit and I have ways of escaping, you're in the cargo bay. And if you've ever seen what happens to loose cargo when a ship enters freefall, you'll understand exactly how fucked you truly are. So if you do not disengage the fucking explosive, I'm going to crash this Goram ship back into the fucking planet. Because I can't hear any of you because I have no way of communicating with any of you.
Boop.
He
Put
can't.
explosives?
He can't release his hand from the kill switch because it's attached to his fingers, but he opens his palm as if to say, I'm not going to do anything. Just put us back on the ground. There's been a bit of a misunderstanding.
I should hope so. And I've kind of got that still, like, I want to talk to your manager look in my face. Like, I'm about to sue the dry cleaners look in my face.
I'm gonna go to the engine room. I'm gonna grab some of Bai's fucking whatever he's got back there that's been cooking up, and I'm gonna bring it in the cleanest glass that we have. And I'm just gonna, while she's standing there, just, there you are, sweetheart.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna pull up the chair that I kicked up off the ground, and I'm gonna offer it here. Kind of outlandish.
Yeah, I'm not even looking. I accept the glass, and I just sit down into the seat.
I really wish I had one of those freaking fan things right now to be like.
Dr. Rutherford, do you have any points that you want to make here, or are you just watching what's going on?
I think Robert is just watching. I think when he brandished the kill switch, I think I kind of like flinch for a moment, and I just kind of speak up and say, perhaps one of you could get the ordnance on the ship and deactivate it. Surely there's an off button. You're not going to blow yourself up if you got the ship, are you?
No, let's just have him put the ship back down. And his eyes have not left Lo Jiali.
I haven't left his eyes either. I'm just gonna, it's like a.
Felix, the ship down, honey. Trust me, you are going to want to see this. Get down here. It is a hoot and a half. The look on Badger's face right now. Get down here, honey. And by the way, you are the pilot, not the captain.
I'm gonna set the ship to hover because I ain't letting this baby down until I'm not letting Badger off this ship. But I will come down and can I lock down the controls?
Yeah, we'll say that you can. You can basically lock it in and key it up with your intro switch or your intro command, which somebody presumably wouldn't know unless they were you or a member of the crew.
Yeah. In which case, I will do that and make sure that this ship ain't going nowhere. And he will head down and just stand on the gangplank with his pistol in his hand, seeing the situation and trying to get a read on what exactly is going on here.
It looks like Badger's getting a bit of his composure back as he kind of turns to his men and surprised that they have weapons out. Put your weapons away. For God's sake, you're embarrassing me. Now, let's get back to brass tacks, shall we? Miss Lojali, if I may, what is your association with these people?
My association. Obviously, I have. What's the word I'm looking for? Requisitioned this ship for my uses currently.
It's your ship. Oh, put your goddamn guns down. There's been a terrible mistake. I'm the first to admit it.
I hope so. Yes.
We'll get the explosives off your ship.
Forthwith, please.
Could you have the pilot land? It would help that there's no fuel going to the in-atmo thrusters when we're trying to disengage.
And it'll be the first time I take my eyes off of him for a second, and it's just to kind of look up because I assume we would have heard him enter from the.
Oh yeah, the boots hitting that metal planking. Yeah, exactly. And I also went like this as soon as I saw him, so it would be eye contact.
Felix, could you be a dear and land the ship? Also, open the door so I can bring my car into park, please.
Felix looks...
I'm just nodding, do it.
Felix...
I'm sure my parking space will be unoccupied soon.
Felix nods and looks at Lojal Lee and says, "Yes, ma'am. Sorry that there's been complications aboard your ship." and I'm gonna go back to the car. Just I swear to God, if someone else claims it, I'm gonna.
I'm going to go to the medical bay. And let's walk off.
Good.
As all of this is occurring, Badger is taking this opportunity where he is not being directly observed. I'm sure everyone's kind of keeping
as soon as I got the confirmation, my eyes would have darted right back, but it would have been I got enough to get that conversation.
I'm cocky bodyguard standing behind her, but really I just want to see her give shit to Badger.
This is basically, as you guys kind of take that brief second where you're not fully devoted attention-wise to Badger, and you kind of talk with Felix and you come back, never really letting him leave your periphery. When you go back, you're just gifted with him with his hand out towards one of the larger men beside him, and he's like, "Get this goddamn thing off! Get it off! Get it!" And they're pulling and working at the kill switch to pull it off. And after he's sitting there, and as soon as Lojal Lee looks back, he continues to look, but his hand is over here getting worked on by one of the men who's tugging, and he's God, Rem. And now, let's pick it back on the ground, maybe.
He's working on it. Sure, it'll be done as soon as safely is observed. We wouldn't want a rough landing, now would we?
No. We had a rough start, rough takeoff, but no rough landing. Oh, so, this is awkward.
Would you mind telling me what you're doing here, placing explosives on this ship in the first place?
Well, honestly, no. I would prefer not to, if that were an option. Is that an
I
option?
suppose we could arrange that to be an option.
Several of these people came to me looking for work.
Yes,
So perhaps I could,
as instructed.
I did not know that. I did not know that. I'm more of an ease down dog person. How can we make this right?
Well, first of all, I believe you could give these people one of the more lucrative jobs you have currently available. Also, any and all information you currently have on the Dauntless.
You can read minds, girl.
I don't like people attempting to sabotage.
Is
That's
Sweet.
I
I
don't
feel-
know the Dauntless, but McNamara ship? Is that...
Yes. Any and all information on him, his crew, ship.
that will take some time. I don't know.
That's fine.
I'm
Take
just a
time.
sad
There's
little king
one-
of a sad little hill.
One other little thing that's been bothering me, Badger. Why on earth is my ship on lockdown? Why has everybody got their eyes out for me? I wasn't welcoming your establishment and you're here. What is this all about?
Okay, to get this information from Badger, it's not that he is not going to comply. It's just he has levels of how much he is going to comply. So we're going to have our first roll of the game here. And what I would like you guys to do is if you need information from Badger concerning any of these things, I need you guys to roll a social and an influence. But you also get a D8 asset, whoever does this, because of Lo Jiao Li. It is the respect for Lo Jiao Li.
Okay.
social plus
so I
influence.
can't roll it because I asked for information first.
Yeah,
I would
anybody can-
I would rather her roll it, to be honest. It fits the scene better.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I will give you what you have to beat. Hold on.
Okay.
Can I give her one of my blood points?
Yeah, you guys can always give plot points if you want.
What? Oh, okay. Well, let me know if you need blood points, girl.
It's once we get in an action scene, though, you cannot do it. And that's where Eric's ability comes in, where he can flawlessly give his to Felix whenever Felix needs them. So that's an 11. You need to beat an 11 to get...
Okay. Well, I think that this would be a social.
Social and influence are
An
two of the
influence.
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get a D8 just for pure respect.
For pure respect. I also have some distinctions and signature assets that might go well here. Probably the distinctions
Your signature asset is implied.
is implied. Okay, what about my distinctions? Should I use 1, 2, and or 3? Because this is any
Let's-
distinctions and they all kind of apply here.
Let's speak
my
in code,
God.
shall we? Yes for 1. Yes for 3.
Yes, for 1
So-
and 3? Okay.
That's 2 more D8 that you can use.
All right, so I get a D10, a D12, and 3D8. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, we're using the Cortex Plus system. What it is, it's an asset-based roll game. Handful of virtual dice from me sets the DC. That DC, if it is beaten by the PCs as they collect their virtual dice, they roll those out. Top highest 2 dice rolls form your sum total. The sum total beats mine. They get what they need. Go right
right.
ahead, Lo Jiao.
Okay, and I would love to spend a plot point to keep extra dice.
You may absolutely do that.
All right, cool. Let's do our social first. Okay, and then influence. And then let's do our first D8, second D8, third D8. Okay. So 12, 11, 11 plus 12, 21, 23, 23.
Yeah, that's so you're going to get what you want.
Okay.
And you also, because you beat that roll by the amount in which you beat it, you get a big
By
damn
10?
hero die.
By the amount by 10, does that mean I get 2?
You get quite a bit here. So I will
I'm very good at influence.
do this one and make sure we just roll it right over here to Lo Jalib. For others of you at home, red equals plot points. Big damn hero dice are represented by the blue poker chips, and those can be rolled after you make your roll. They are added to it. They are a d12. It's like a d12 of inspiration, everyone. So in addition to that, what did you exactly ask of Mr. Badger?
Well, I asked him for information on the Dauntless and its crew, and implied the question, like, yeah, why do you want this ship so much? Just. And the best currently available job for these people. So.
I have a job. I was waiting to give it to a boat. They were delivering some cattle for me, but they'll be back soon, I suppose. But I could give it to you all. But the Dauntless, I do not know. I will look for you, Miss Jali. But
you have ways of getting information.
I do. I will cast out the net, if you will.
Yes. I'm not impressed with your information gathering skills thus far, but maybe you can impress me in the future.
Thank you, Miss Lojali. This boat is it's known to be difficult to track. It's hard to find. Makes it very, very helpful in my line of work.
Yes.
So
my question is, how well known is it that it's difficult to track?
Before we get any further, I'd like you to know that a web DM, Jim, has given Lojali a little bit of a bonus.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Badger is so scared he's now trying to help in any way, including giving out donations to try and get Lojali back on
Here,
side.
have another plot point that you spent to persuade me. Really, really high persuasion.
Right. So, let me make sure I give that to you on the
Okay, thanks.
thingamabob here. I have it on the main site, but where are you? Are you down here? There you go. And so anyway, you basically find out that it's kind of what you guys have already known, but Round Jack kind of kept it a bit from you all. Just what type of history or past this Firefly has had. The Courtesan has a history before you all. Fireflies are very old boats. There's about 50,000 of them flying, so they blend in anyway. But this one in particular, because of the Cortex suite that it has on it, makes it incredibly difficult to track. When it leaves a system and enters a system, it leaves as one ship, enters as another. It bounces its ident code all over the system. The Courtesan could be one whole verse away from where it really is. That makes it very, very appealing to a smuggler. And it also is... you get a hint from Badger that only a select few know of the Courtesan's real identity and where it came from, and that he might be somebody that knew of it in the past and kind of tracked it. And you get the feeling that the Courtesan was definitely not its original name.
Okay. Let's keep it as little well known as possible, yes?
Yes, Miss Jolly. I do. Now, you did roll a 1 here, so you get get a complication, which is going to pop up here in a second.
Yeah.
So as the ship comes back down and lands back on its berth at the Eavesdown docks, the dock master in Eavesdown was kind of lighting up the comm board that I'm sure Felix probably ignored as he brought it back down and landed. And as soon as the boat lands, the comm from the wave from the dock master subsides. When you land again, Badger immediately gets his people and starts moving towards the door, and he says, I'll get you that information you need on the Dauntless, and then I'll get you some more information on the job. It's
Yes.
it's a special job. It's a bit of a it's a robbery, but I can. It's not I'll get you the information. He's completely flustered. With that influence and social roll that you beat by 10, he is sweating buckets. The vest that he has on is damp and now darkening in color as if he's bleeding out. I mean, it's
Yeah, I want to talk to your manager. Looks
flop.
gone, and now it's just the like the cold, I'm in charge. Like you better kind of. I'll be keeping tabs on you kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a very awkward position for Badger as he is never in. He is like what was said, a sad little king of a sad little hill. With it, Eavesdown's his hill, and the queen has just showed up and kicked him down the hill. So he is not dealing with this well, and it's not like he's antagonistic because your social and influence have basically pushed any of those thoughts out of his head. But he is flustered. Completely and utterly, and you have no doubt that he's going to do everything that you've said. He just is in no condition to do it right now. He needs to get himself together, readdress the situation, and present himself as a proper businessman. But
and I'll walk as a polite lady. I will walk him to the door. Make him feel even more uncomfortable. But
I'm gonna walk.
Also, as a gesture of politeness.
I'm going to walk with her to a certain point. Oh, I lost my accent for a second. Awesome. There we go. Now, honey, don't let this bite you in the ass. I'm sure that we can still be friends. We can put all of this behind us, and we can just forget this whole thing ever happened. Right, honey?
Yes.
he kind of leans in. You're walking with Badger, right?
I'm assuming she's walking on the one side and I'm walking the other, and is people are just following us. We don't even care about them. It's just trying to hound him and make him feel alone as he's going out.
Like I said, Badger completely off his game, is floundering, and he's making bad judgment calls right now. So because he was beaten so badly on that roll, and with that offer of we can still work together, he grasps at it like a drowning man grasping at a plank of wood, and he turns to Harriet and kind of leans into Harriet, and probably looks up because Harriet's taller, isn't she? She's
she's pretty.
He's not very tall.
Right. He glances up and kind of almost conspiratorially, even though Lo Jali's
I know, right there,
a foot or two away, he says, thank you. Put in a good word for me, would you?
Yeah, I'll put that on my to-do list, honey.
Okay.
And as he's walking off, I'll be like, could you open the door to my car?
Oh, sweetie, I got you.
Look forward to hearing from you. I'm sure we'll work wonderfully together.
Okay, so as they kind of shake, Badger is trying to pat off the flop sweat. As they leave and kind of go out, and the door, the personnel door closes, and the larger cargo bay ramp descends. As it descends, and as the eaves down air kind of rushes in to blow out some of the stagnant sweat of Badger, even lifting his little makeshift tablecloth up into the air and floating it down to the floor of the cargo bay. As it comes to rest, your car is not there.
The girl!
Oh, that's bad.
I'm gonna turn around, and if Felix is in the room, I'm just gonna look at him. And if he's not, I'm just gonna fall. My eyes are gonna fall on Harriet and be like, "My car isn't here."
Do you have some sort of tracking system on that?
State-of-the-art security system. Yes, tracking system. Very limited.
Well, we are in the right place, and we will find your car for you, Miss Larjali.
Elizabeth was in there as well, so I'm a bit concerned.
Harriet kind of all the mirth from the situation drains from her face immediately, thinking of that little girl alone in Persephone. Do we have any kind of motorbikes or anything like that?
Quad.
We've got a quad. That's not fast enough. I want something that can zip around. Well,
it is at this time when you all are kind of standing there, and Badger and his men are kind of descending back the docks towards Eavesdown proper. You see a small, you can only be described as like a homeless boy or a street urchin, looks across, and he holds up a core pad and begins walking towards the two of you.
How can I help you?
I was told to give you this.
I hold it so she can see with me, because we're best friends now. What do we see?
As soon as you hand it, you see that there is a frozen capture on there, a video. And it's a Kyoto 6.0 core pad. And as you're holding it there, the video begins to play, and it lifts a bit in kind of a holographic 3D display. Mm-hmm. And you see kind of impressed into the front of the vid the picture of the man that was following you back in the Rue de Oak in the uppity section of the city. Mm-hmm. And in the background, you can see the thrust of the Courtesan as he apparently is talking, and the Courtesan is still above him during this exchange. And he says, "We have your vehicle, which doesn't concern you much, I'm sure, but we also have your DNA. In 12 hours, your bios and ident will be matched with those of an escapee from Andersonville prison. Even the border world forgers won't touch you when they know that you've been buzzed by Alliance. So if you want your car back or your life back and you don't want to live out on the border with the Gosa in the dirt, then we'll be in touch." And it goes...
Is there a replay button?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a terrible day.
I hate the Goram Alliance.
I have no problems with the Alliance. I have no idea what they're talking about.
Doctor kind of walks
With
out.
this prison break.
Doctor, you're pretty good with the technical doohickeys and stuff. We just got a invitation of some kind. Do you mind taking a look and seeing what you can make out of it with that big old brain of yours?
Yes, I can take a look. Is everything all right now? As I can get the pad
Elizabeth
on
and my car are missing.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Well, it's been an eventful day. And he kind of takes the pad. And just listening to the message, I'm guessing, obviously I know that kind of situation is possible. Do I recognize the person? Can I do any kind of... does it show on the pad how he's holding this pad?
You can tell that it appears that it's like an overhand grip, almost as if he's holding it like this, and you can catch behind you the Courtesan as you can even see it hit the moment where it went into hover mode, and you can see the thrust kind of normalize, as that must be the moment, the timestamp, if you will, of when he was filming this particular vid.
Okay. And another question that I might know is can this get news from all around the moon?
This core pad can. It seems to be locked out just to give you this message, but it wouldn't be much for you to unlock it.
Yeah. Can I attempt to unlock it at all?
Yeah. In fact, I'm just going to roll a d6, and you can give me which is a 2. So you can give me a craft and a...
Mind and craft?
Yep.
Mental and craft?
Yep, mental and craft.
Cool. Okay. And then... So, 2, plus 9.
Yep, so yeah, 7 for a 7 total, which is a
7.
big damn hero die for you.
Nice.
And I'll put it there just for opening up a phone. And so
I'm just like,
able...
Oh,
Yeah,
well, his
it
password was password. Okay.
Fucking Alliance, we all think to ourselves.
Alliance would.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yep, so you're able to unlock it, and you basically have a fully functioning verse level iPad.
So what I want to do is go into the actual workings of it and see if I can backtrack the ping of whenever wireless communication it was taking. So any kind of updates, and just kind of backtrack the location on a map, see if I can tell where it's been, where it's picked up wireless information, so I can track it.
Look at him with his brain. I told you he had a big, sexy brain.
With that great idea, I will let you know this. Since you already got a big damn hero die on a roll similar to this, it doesn't take you long to realize as soon as you check like the history and the update history, which doesn't require a roll with somebody that's knows exactly what they're doing, you realize that this was just purchased in the Rue de Oak 2 hours ago.
Clever. And you said it was an overhand grip. Is the person wearing gloves?
You can't tell. You get a glimpse of his arm as he's holding it there, but you don't see any type of... Never does he put a thumb in front of the camera or anything like that.
Oh, well, it seems that this was purchased recently, so I can't backtrack any signal. It all seems very legit. Seems to be alliance, but considering he was speaking of DNA, I can see if there's any DNA that he might be leaving behind, any breath or any, and I kind of keep it away from me as I'm saying this, any fingerprints or any stray. So then we have something on him. It shouldn't be hard to do. Have all the equipment in the back.
This feels like one of the mind fucks where he's already going to have someone else's DNA on there, and then we're going to chase it, and it's going to be a wild goose chase. I've
never been in prison, so I'm sure this is all just a misunderstanding.
I believe what he's insinuating is that you will be wrongfully imprisoned.
Yeah, what the statement said was your DNA would be replaced with an escapee from Andersonville prison.
Okay, I misheard that then the first go around.
Yep.
Where's the kid that gave us the person?
He's standing right there.
Hi, sweetie. How you doing? She kind of hunkers down. Do I have any credits on me that I can just be like, thanks for the delivery? Yeah. What can you tell us about the person that gave you this here tablet?
As soon as the first credit hits his hand, his eyes narrow a bit as you realize you're dealing with not a child, but a child of the Persephone streets. And with that first credit, he realizes that he is open for business. Well, it got real busy. Your ship was flying, and I was watching it, and they were gone. Wait, did I see him? I didn't see him. I can't remember if I saw him.
I'm sure if you try real hard, you can remember. I know you got a big, sexy brain just like that doctor there. You are going to grow up to be quite the man.
Well, I appreciate it, but he takes the second. Oh, it's getting clearer. Almost tip of the tongue it was.
Oh, it's so close, little brat.
From back in the ship.
I'm just gonna reach into my leather jacket and hold up like a stack of 3 to 5, like 5 platinum coins.
Meanwhile, I've been heading to
and kind of just like twirl them through my fingers. Everything,
From back in the ship.
I love you.
Felix calling out. He says, Harriet, we're going to need to find one of the local street rats to clean one of the engines. Can you see if you can rustle someone up? Press gang them if you have to.
Yeah, sweetie, I'll get right on that. Don't you worry. Why don't
When
you
he
go
hears
check on
that,
your husband?
He pulls back a little bit as if the thought of being press ganged into cleaning out a fusion reactor is not necessarily on his to-do list this day at Eavesdale.
Oh, sweetie, don't you worry about him. He's got more bark than bite, and we got more platinums than we knew what to do with, apparently. So, like Miss Lao Xiaoli said, I kind of like bring him in for a hug and stand him right in front of this imposing Chinese woman. Why don't you tell her everything you remember, honey?
Did you hand him the money?
I hand him 1, and I twirl the other 4 between my fingers.
They went that way. And he points towards the west.
And they looked like, and I flick, like, well, mid-twirl, I flick another coin.
He describes the people that you guys saw in the Rue de Oak.
Okay. Anything else you know? Or do I need to put these coins in my pocket?
You could probably give me one more.
I'll humor him. I'll flip him one other one.
You've given this kid a ton of money. I mean, this is like...
Yeah.
He catches it.
I'm not worried about a few coins.
He catches it, immediately puts all the money away. It just disappears. It's like David Blaine. It was there in his hands and it's just gone now. And he goes, now, if you go down that way, you're going to run into all the warehouses. All of them. That's where they put all the goods. They went that way. That's all I got.
All right. And I will put it, like, my hand back in my pocket. And then I'll kind of, like, kneel down, give him a little smile. Now, if you see them again or find anything else about them or the car that they took, and I'll put another coin in his hand, just come back and let me know.
He gives you a big wink. Will do, ma'am. And he scampers off and disappears into the throng that is the Evestown docks. You do notice, however, he is headed in the direction that he pointed.
Uh-huh. Let's follow him.
Yes, let's. Doc, do you mind letting Felix know what's going on? Where are we heading down west? Y'all want to lock up and see if you can catch up with us?
Yeah, that'd be fine. I wanted to go quickly to my lab anyway. I can do that for you. Post haste. Stay safe.
You as well, Doc. You as well.
I moved that table on my pocket spot.
I guess we take off kind of running in the shadows after him. I don't want to go after him with the quad that's kind of like...
I know.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like...
Okay, so are you guys going to go after him like you're going to... Are you trying to be sneaky or...
Oh, I'm trying to be sneaky. I'm following this little shit wherever he's going.
I'll be sneaky too. I'll make it look like I'm just going
sneak,
towards
then.
Where he pointed. Wait, roll sneak? Okay.
Physical and sneak, yeah.
Oh, physical and sneak. All right.
Okay, pool clear, D8, and sneak is D4. We don't have one D4 things yet. Oh, crap.
I'm gonna head. I'm gonna once I tell Felix, I'm gonna head to my lab and start doing stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good. I had to be a 6. Yep. I got a 12.
I don't know if mine's working properly.
Nope.
Oh,
Is that
you
the
can
big
just-
hero die?
You can just you can just roll them manually if you want to. Like
Okay.
slash
Yeah.
roll,
Slash
and then-
roll 1d8 slash roll 1d4, and I'll spend a pop point if I don't make it. But I
Oh,
don't...
we both rolled 12, and the DC
What-
was 6. Look at that.
Yep, so you both get big damn hero dies.
We're so sneaky.
We're so
You-
sneaky. Oh, could I have? I don't have a gun. I only have my knife. Shit. Do you have a weapon?
I don't use weapons.
You use words. There's weapons in that, honey.
I'm a talker. I don't fight. No.
No grenades, no gun. I really should have grabbed a gun before we left. No time.
Okay, so you guys are officially loaded up with implements. You are able to follow for a while, and then you realize that he's looking for them too, because he wants money. He's not going anywhere in particular. He's just down here hoping that he can catch a glimpse of them so he can run back and grift you guys.
They're going to be
for
a lot
some more
less
money.
suspicious of him running around doing the investigating, so I'm content to kind of follow and let him peek inside the warehouses until he looks like he's found something, and then saddle on up. Let him do the work for us. I'm not gonna like, oh look, we looked in this warehouse and they found us first. Oh no! So I'm just keeping my like gonna try to keep my wits about me. Look around, be sneaky.
Okay, so you guys...
Do I know a guy down here at all by any chance?
Ooh.
The guy that you knew last time, Jason Miles, that you called, said never to call him again when he realized that you had run afoul of Badger. So that was your asset from last episode when Jason wanted none of that. In fact, he specifically said, please don't ever call me again when he hung up the phone with you.
We need to get Badger to call him to make that right.
While you guys are down here kind of chasing the boy and like kind of looking at this particular area, which is a different direction than any of you went initially, we're going to cut back to the ship as we have both the Doc and Felix somewhere on board. Felix, I'm assuming that you're in the cockpit, or are you somewhere else?
Felix is going to be checking over to make sure that there is nothing else on his ship that he doesn't like, and he's going to be talking to the ship as he does. Just sort of muttering to himself, very annoyed that someone sort of has done something to her. Probably whispering things just in case Bai overhears, because Bai doesn't really understand that a man will have two loves in his life. The person he spends his time with and the ship he spends his time in.
Right, absolutely. So as you're kind of looking around, you do realize that the bomb has not been removed from the ship, but it is powered down. So there's no armed mechanism in it, and Badger is presumably going to send somebody to retrieve it at some point. So as you all are sitting there and as you're going through there, Doc, where are you right now?
I think I just kind of go on the intercom and I'm just like, Felix, dear boy, where are you about? Michelle Lee and the good captain have headed off. They're probably following some urgent child to a bunch of warehouse districts, I believe.
Right.
You're all right.
Yes. I'm studying the bomb at the moment.
Oh, what does it look like?
Yes, Greg. How hard would it be to uncouple it?
Well, it appears is not like diffusing an active bomb. This is like removing a set bomb from where it was placed. It wouldn't be too terribly difficult, as this isn't like a raw stick of dynamite or like nitroglycerin where if you just handle it poorly, it'll blow up. This is something that's pretty sturdy. As much as a bomb can be anyway. So if you like elect to shoot it or see how hot you can make it, that shit would probably not work real well. But if you're just going to like take it, right, hey, let's throw this on the fire and see what happens. Not going to work real well.
I was going to say, have you tried eating the protein blocks? I mean, anything's worth trying at this point. Right.
Grilled bomb. Yeah. Sauteed. Bai could probably do something great with it, but
I imagine, no doubt.
Yeah, you got it, between the two of you with your mechanical, there's no roll required. You can like remove it from the ship.
I don't want to remove. I want to unattach it from my ship, and then I'm going to turn to the captain. How big is it? Can we move it around?
It's like a backpack size, so
okay.
It's like about 2x2.
Yeah. I'm going to. Do we have any like hardened containers and stuff for like?
Yeah, I mean nothing that if it went off, it's not going to stop.
Oh no! I don't want anything like I'm just making sure it doesn't get knocked or like if it gets.
Oh yeah. You guys got plenty hard case crates that you're used to like fill with protein. Like with clips on the sides, you could lock down. Sure.
So I walk over and as the Doc's sort of proven himself to be one of the crew. I will walk over and there's a stack of 3 crates that sort of loosely attached to each other, and I'll walk over to the edge and run my hand on the side and then pop a clasp, and you'll see that they're actually one crate that's sort of it looks like a mess, but really they're specifically stacked to sort of look like there's nothing in them. And there's a false lid to them, as we're smugglers, that has just got sort of a few protein packs and stuff thrown onto it. But then the sort of midway down, it opens up, and I'm gonna slip the bomb into there and lock it up again.
Sure, yeah, you get it into this kind of hidden cubby, and you're able to tie it down and kind of lash it to the deck, so to speak. So if it's in this open space, it's not rolling and rocking around. But everything's good.
Yeah, I just looked at the doctor and I say, we'll need to do something with that at some point.
Yes.
A daunting task.
Indeed. I catch what you're throwing. I'm about to head to the lab. I don't know if you want to catch them up or not. I want to just check a few things on this little device. a few little
I
backups.
have half a mind to sit in the cargo bay with a loaded gun at this point, but as long as we're on the ship and we're all locked up, and I will make sure that this ship is fucking locked down. Like, I lock everything. I lock cupboards. I don't even know what's in them. Like, buy stuff. Like, I lock the fridge. I am done. I am angry. And,
Felix, you would know too that when you left the Courtesan and you guys went into Persephone, she was locked up tight.
Yeah,
It wasn't like you guys left her open.
I'm aware. I lock everything down again. Yeah, I'm going to. I'll come and assist the doctor, but I'm gonna have my ear out. Anything, a pin fucking drops, I am there with a gun. I'm in a bad mood. But yeah, I'll go.
You're itchy trigger finger, right?
Oh my god, I've gone back to sort of like Yokel has a gun, you're on his land mode. Like, I'm in a bad mood. But yeah, I'll follow the doctor to see what kind of if there's anything I can do. I probably won't be able to help, but even if it's just a simple like holding stuff for him or whatever.
Okay. I will tell you this, the two of you, as you are sitting there, scattered throughout the boat are the comm boxes. And the comm boxes, especially when you're planet side, are tied into the main comms. You will notice that wherever you guys are, you see about 3 of these things light up. The 2 boxes that go into the now absent shuttles, the 2 in the cargo bay, you start seeing a little green light start to flash as if there's an incoming comm call.
I will reach over and grab one. This is the helmsman of the Courtesan.
Mr. Felix? You recognize Elizabeth's voice.
Elizabeth, sweetheart, I need you to tell me where you are. Very calmly, okay? I presume, are you still in Miss Lojali's car?
Yes. They didn't see me.
Okay.
I was in the back.
Listen to me. You need to make yourself incredibly small. Can you get underneath one of the seats?
That's where I was. I was in the back seat.
Good. Don't worry. We're not going to leave you. We've already sent people, and one of the local kids has already identified where it is that the car has been taken. Can you hear anything?
No, we didn't drive very far.
Okay, that's no problem. You can't hear anything, so you can't hear people walking around.
Oh, I can hear them.
Can you hear people out in the streets?
You kind of... She must be using the stem phone that's inside Lo's car. And you kind of hear it pull away from her, that kind of crunkle.
Yeah.
And it comes back. Yes, I can hear it.
You haven't gone too far at all. Can you hear any large, heavy metal clanging sounds?
No.
Okay. I need you to stay on the phone with me, okay? So bring it in nice and tight and stay exactly where you are. You're amazing.
I can't get under the seat with the phone.
Okay, then leave the phone just off to one side. So we can hear if anything happens. Do not hang up the phone, okay?
Okay, and you hear kind of like another kind of crunkle and scrunching around. And from a distance, you hear Elizabeth's voice. Can you still hear me?
Yes. I say once, and then I'm going to mute, like, the comms on our side, so any noise that I make isn't going to be heard in the car. And I will turn to the doctor.
Anything good?
You were trying to triangulate the position of that device beforehand. Can you
Yes, not good really.
Can you do it with an active comm signal?
Yes, I should be able to.
Fantastic. We have Elizabeth on the line. She's still in the vehicle. She has Ojali's sat phone.
Cool. That'd be fine. Could you go into that container there, the drawer? It should have a little hookup device. I can do it. I'm not going to create an asset just like I did before with the when I blacked out the cameras, which is a small pen with like a little USB connector to kind of like just do like quick tracking of signals.
Okay.
And use a plot point for that.
I will head over and grab that. And Yeah, I'll hand it over, and I'm going to check my gun unnecessarily, and I'm going to get on the call to Harriet.
Harriet, you would get a call on your STEM phone that you had received, that you made that call to Jason with earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth's still in the car. She's just picked up Lojali's phone. The doctor is triangulating at the moment. She can still hear people, and they haven't traveled far. She's hiding under one of the seats.
That is good news. Well, as long as we act quickly, then we might be able to get the drop on them. What do you feel about doing some last-minute shopping, Miss Lojali?
Ask Lojali what security measures her car has.
She's right here. She's right here.
Yeah, I will.
I'm holding
the
the phone to her face, like, communicate.
Yeah, because I'd only locked the car with Elizabeth in it.
Get over here.
So I will proceed to inform them of the security capabilities that it does have, but I did not engage, except for the locks, just to make sure no one jumped in and took off with her.
Anything that we can walk her through activating so no one can get into the car?
Probably, yeah. I don't see why not.
Okay.
I'd like to even imagine that they could be remotely activated, seeing as that it is a super fancy, state-of-the-line, top-of-the-art.
Yeah, if there's any way we can sort of lock that car down, I need to know about it now. So, yeah, Greg?
You don't know about that? You don't know if from remotely... I mean, Lo can tell you how to do something like that. I would need to know...
Doesn't need to be remote if I can talk Elizabeth for it, so she can activate it if it's not...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Elizabeth would be able to do it. She might have to move around a bit, but, you know, obviously get in the front seat. But, yeah, you could walk her through that. I tell you what, instead of creating an asset pro that is your device that you already have, let's say that the asset that you've created is actually... the asset that you've created is actually the information that Lo has just given you. You're able to, you know what the information is better than anybody else. You know how to use these access codes that have been given. So what I'm going to tell you to do is this. To track this signal, the signal itself, despite the information that Lo has given you, this car was specifically designed not to be tracked. So even though she tells you, hey, here's how to track it, that's still like trying to eyeball a stealth bomber.
It's like just in case I lose my car so that I can find it, but it's not easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to walk around looking through warehouses than a track.
Right.
I will tell Elizabeth, and I've said this like nice and quietly, so I'm not being overheard outside the vehicle. Elizabeth, we're doing everything we can, and we have a way for you to be more safe and secure in the vehicle. But at the moment, send someone to come and get you.
I'm not scared. I'll do whatever I need to do.
All you need to do right now is exactly what you're doing. Make sure you're nice and small, and we will come and get you as soon as we can.
Okay.
Then I'll mute the phone and swear so foully. Like, oh, I'm angry. And yeah, I will turn around to the doctor. How's it coming along?
Oh, well, so I'm trying to activate it remotely, right? Or track it from this location?
Yeah, you want to track it first. So what we'll do is your tech rolls that you normally do. Okay. And you need to beat a 12.
Okay.
Can I give him one of my plot points as we're not in, like, combat?
You can spend a plot point to assist him with one of your rolls.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so you can, I'll take away one of your plot points and then...
Can I use mental as if to sort of get her to give, like, a description of, like, things she can hear and everything like that? Perfect, okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So my mental is a 10. No, it's an 8. Do
I get like an extra die if he helps me, or is it
he'll roll Yeah, he's gonna roll, and it's gonna be like that die is part of your pool. So he rolled a 2, but depending upon his roll, it would have helped you out regardless. As one of the ones you could have picked.
Okay, I'm gonna spend a plot point to keep a die.
Okay, and you do have your big damn hero should you need it.
I will. I don't think I do.
15.
I got 15. I got a 1 now, but I got a 15.
Okay, so there's one that comes in as a complication, but you get a 14, which is enough to beat and track the signal. However, the complication is when you track the signal, it sets the alarm off in the car. And the car starts to and just starts to
Do
kind
we
of...
hear this alarm?
You do.
You know that sound.
That's my car.
Okay, so Felix, back in the Courtesan, you hear kind of this loud siren go off as you recognize a car alarm, but you also are able to, between the two of you, you pinpoint the exact location of this call as being a warehouse directly off of the Eavesdown main thoroughfare. It appears to be an identifier that is 1417A, and that information can be relayed. But Felix, as you are hearing this thing go off, you hear Elizabeth as she says, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then you hear pounding on the windows, and you hear what sounds like battery, something. "They're trying to come in," and you hear pounds against the side of what you can only assume is the glass of the car.
They better not scratch the paint.
Oh my god.
It's got good glass. I'm not like terribly worried. It's gonna take a while to get in.
Well, that's not good.
Do you think this would be the good time to draw a crowd?
Yeah, I'm going to get on the comms and let them know exactly where the ship where the vehicle is, and yeah. Okay, right. Okay.
I'm gonna go over to my desk and see if I can do the thing I messaged you about, Greg.
You can, do give me a straight medicine roll for that. So, like mental and your medicine. Let me see. I'll tell you exactly what you can use.
No science.
Medicine, science. Medicine, no, and science. And then I'll give you your first distinction too. Ship's doctor.
Okay,
So,
cool.
A total of D10, D12, D6, and D8.
D8. 11. No, sorry. Yeah, 11, right?
Okay. And we'll just make it a base roll. It is tough to do. You beat it by 1 as you're able to get what you believe to be loosely specific to this very unique signature that you've found. This doesn't take you long, as what this is you're essentially doing is you're going through a litany of things that you know will attach itself to this particular sample and picking the wicked thing that you already have samples of. So you open your special stash in the back of the refrigerator and pull forth a vial of nasty, and you've got, we'll say, 1 use of it. Lo Jiali and Harriet, when you guys are out in there and the information is relayed to you, you realize that this warehouse is literally 50 yards away from you, straight ahead.
Is there anybody nearby, like a drunk dock worker or something? 'Cause we're near the warehouse district. Is anyone drinking from a bottle? Does anyone have a bottle on them?
Yeah, we'll say that there's people that are drinking, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna dash over real quick, grab it, I hand them your alcohol, and just give money, and hands open.
Yep. No roll there.
As I see this going on, I am keeping her on my boat forever.
And then I'm going to make a signature asset and pull a little vial out from my purse and like set it into the top of the bottle so that all I have to do is like smack like the cork real far in there and it'll activate.
Gotcha.
Okay,
and
I have that
know what
ready.
you're using, and that's perfectly fine.
All right.
Yep. So okay, you've armed that.
Mhm.
You guys can hear all of that going on, and Felix, in your end, things seem to be getting dire as Elizabeth is getting more and more erratic, and she goes, "They have guns! They have guns!"
Yeah, and then as soon as I get the bottles and I'm like walking and doing this and like,
Why don't you
got
walk
to
on in and I go around the back? Maybe I can do something.
all right, I'm gonna just walk in.
I'm gonna let her take her
I'm gonna
authoritative walk.
stroll casually in.
I'm gonna say to Felix quickly and just be like, any chance you can get the bird over the actual dock?
I'm gonna presume that would be hard as hell. Greg?
You would know this. As soon as you take any craft that isn't suborbital or atmo craft, you take a spacecraft over Eves Down or over the residential area proper, the dockmaster and all of the Civil Aviation Authority would be alerted that there is somebody flying a Goram spacecraft over a residential section, which is a big no-no because, as you guys remember, the bar that you were in, the Broken Rose, was a ship that crashed into Eves Down, and it was so tough to get it out of Eves Down, they just left the goddamn thing because they couldn't move it out of all the built-up infrastructure, so they just left it there. So yeah, you could do it, but it's going to be immediately identified as a big problem.
I think it would be more trouble than help, because if this really is the Alliance pulling the strings, we may need a rapid exit.
Right. I'm gonna take one of the bikes.
You have there's one quad available, and you can absolutely walk down and jump on it. It's not like you just hit it in, push the button, and go.
I will go to sort of like one of the weapons lockers and grab, like, do we have any rifles or anything?
Do you guys have rifles?
I
would
like
assume that
we'd have like a few big guns because you never know.
I don't think we have anything that's like armor piercing or whatever, but even on the backwater planets, I'm sure we could find like an old fucking rifle, you know what I mean?
You guys got like the equivalent of like a rifle, like a hunting rifle,
yeah.
like the equivalent of a shotgun.
Oh, we
You
have a
guys
bomb.
have
That's
this.
right. Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, we have a bomb.
And you got Arrow knows. Arrow, we got a big goddamn
We have a bomb.
Is
We
what
have a
Arrow's
free
telling you.
bomb.
Best job ever.
I'm not there. I can't do anything about it. I can't be like, strap that to that.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
you have a whistle and a stick. You're a Bobby. You just have to go in. And,
Nice.
That's all. I don't even have a stick. It's just me. Just casually.
Yeah.
Are
Okay,
you gonna
so-
come, Felix, or are you gonna stay here?
No. I will. I can't leave you with the ship. I tell you that I'm gonna, leave my pad open. I'm gonna get the ship.
Oh, no, I'm jumping on the bike.
No, I know. I'm gonna leave comms open. I'm going to, keep the thrusters warm, and I'm ready to do what is necessary to get you dickheads out of trouble.
okay.
See you in a few.
so He's on Dickhead Savior Patrol.
Yep.
As the doctor, you jump on the quad, it rumbles into life, and you're able to kind of squeal off into the direction that everybody else ran and that you identified via your callback as to exactly where the source was being, or the call was being traced to. So that's as you pull out. But just as you kind of leave and maybe have about a minute and a half to kind of catch up to everybody else, Lo just walks in to the warehouse.
Casual stroll.
And the alarm's going off, and you see that there are 5 men that are
I'm gonna-
beating the side
I'm
of your
gonna
car.
like use my key fob and turn it off. You wanted to
It-
see me?
What? and it turns around, and you don't recognize any of these men. These men appear to not be the ones that were following you in the Rue de Oak. In fact, you can't see any of.
Okay.
You can't see.
But
any
I'm
of,
obviously the owner because I just went boop.
Oh, they. There's no doubt they know exactly who you are, and you see them start to kind of step back from the car, and they begin to spread as they kind of get into a line and are moving slowly to kind of get around you.
Could I have found like a fire escape or something to have jumped up to and just like try to start like Spider-Manning along the side of the house? Or
I'm gonna, as they start to spread, I'm gonna hold up my bottle, and I had like the little vial hidden at first, but I'm gonna like pull up all the fingers to show that there is something about to fall in, and be like, no moving. You will stay right where you are.
Okay, I want you to roll a social and an influence to see how they react to it. And Harriet, I want you to roll against what I rolled, a physical, and we're gonna go with a sneak. And
Can I use my third distinction
can I
too?
focus on this as well? I'm pretty all about saving this girl.
yeah, I will allow. I'll tell you what. I'll allow physical. I'll allow focus, but I will also allow first mate because you've got a crew member in trouble. So you can use your D8 from that if you would like to. And what it'll allow you to do is you can step up your physical roll, which means you will roll a D10 instead.
Okay, I need to clear my pool then. So pool clear 1d10. So no more. So that is my physical, my sneak, and my focus.
Yep, and that's so you got D10, D4, D4, and D8. Make sure you add in your actual roll for your first mate.
Oh, it's gonna roll two separate things here. Roll. There we go. Ooh, that's a 1. 5, 7, 11, 13 total though. I can't use a plot point to re-roll that, can I?
You can lose a plot point to add one of those in, which would give you an 11
no
Okay.
against their 12. So you would need to use a big damn hero die.
I
if
do
you
not
were-
have one.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
We both
Yeah.
rolled really awesome on our first sneak.
Well, all right then. I will do just that.
Okay, so boom, and you get rid of a big damn. Whoops, not that one. Not that
Like,
one.
these are my points. I'm over here.
Not that one. That one. Gotcha. Okay, so as you are, and you don't even have to roll it because all you need is a 1 to beat it, but roll a d12 for me. If you get a 6 or higher on the roll, you get that plot point or big damn hero point right back.
Well, you beat it.
You beat it. That's a good thing. You beat it, but you tied it in there. Here's the problem. You're able to climb up and get into your position, but as you do, it creates a sound. And lo, you see two of the people turn and look up and behind into the darkness of the warehouse in the back. And they begin to kind of slowly back away.
Yeah.
They do not seem to be listening to you.
Well, I didn't roll yet.
Right, go ahead and do that,
Okay.
but this is
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 5. Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say I can use
Oh, I'm sorry, I
social
got
influence,
one
and can I use my third distinction?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is an 8 that you have to beat.
Okay. So, social influence, and let's just. So that's a 15.
Yeah,
Getting
that
my
beats
big
it.
damn hero die.
That's you get a big damn hero die for that. And as you kind of pull all of these things out at once, you see them all stop, but then you hear a clap from the back. And you see a young woman step forward, 23, 24 years old.
Okay.
And as she comes out of the back, she holds an air of core regality to her. And as she steps up and walks closer towards all of you, it takes you a moment before you realize that this is Grace Landers, the daughter, your stepdaughter of Phil. And she walks forward and she says, "My father always did like being out here on the border, slumming it. Believe that's why he liked it so much when he found you.
Just give a casual shrug.
She starts walking forward, and while her men have frozen, the two of them are still looking behind in the direction of where Harriet made that sound. It's about this time that just outside there's a rumble of a quad as Dr. Rutherford pulls up outside of the area. You see the front door kind of open, Doctor.
Yeah, I'm going to go around the back. So I make my way around the back entrance.
Okay. You're able to go around the back, and you realize that there is like kind of like a fire escape. You don't know this, but that's what Harriet used to enter the building. You kind of look up and assess everything, and you do see at the other end of the alleyway, just as you kind of peel down one side and are kind of going down an alleyway and hitting into the deeper alleyway, you see the door open up, and the gentleman that did the Corpad video walks out, looks around, does not see you, and begins to walk towards the main street.
It's the guy. I recognize him from the pad, right?
Yes, you recognize him from the Kyoto Corpad.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to. He's just walking away, right?
Mm-hmm. He seems to be heading towards like the general population.
Okay.
He does not seem to be.
I'm going to try and get his attention and just kind of whistle.
Oh yeah, you can definitely. You see him kind of freeze. And he kind of turns and looks back over his shoulder, and he recognizes you because you were one of the people that arrived with Lo Jiali in the Rue de Oak, a little while before. And he turns and looks, but he does not move towards you. And you see his hand kind of go down to beneath his jacket.
Hello. How far away am I from him?
You're maybe like 20, 25 feet.
I kind of woke up. Oh, hey, hello there. I got your message from the tablet. I wanted to speak with you. I have some business here on this moon and it's kindly being disrupted. I was wondering if we could speak man to man and get it sorted. A lucrative, obviously, deal can be.
Listen, this is all business. This is all business. I was just told to find her. That's all I did. That's only my job. I don't care who you are, how disgruntled you are. It's business, mate.
Who hired you?
I ain't gonna say that. I'll never work again. Listen, man. No hard feelings, okay?
You're right. Well, just to make sure this doesn't happen again, you're over people you can work for. How about I give you a nice payoff to make sure you leave me and mine alone?
Listen, I'm not gonna touch you guys anymore. The job's over.
What organization are you a part
of? The Me, Myself, and I group.
And I'm saying this as I'm like slowly walking forward to him. Well, if that's what it was and nothing personal, I don't actually know you. It's about just to let you on your way. But before you do, I'd like to give you something. A message for someone here on the moon.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Here, it's on this pad. And I take out the pad that he kind of gave. By the way, you shouldn't use your password as a password for the device. It's very stupid.
It was from the store. It's not my password.
Right.
How defensive is he about this? Is that really his password?
I feel
It's not my password.
Mine has like 2 1s at the end.
Password 11.
By the way, tabletop, if you have a plot point you can give somebody for that, thank you very much. Put it in chat, and that person will get a plot point. Yeah, it's not mine, but you want to give it back to me?
Yes, it was ingenious, actually. How did you get inside the car? How did you take it?
Trade secret. Sort of my specialty.
I can pay you for that. I'm a bit of a tech head myself. So I found you.
Well, that's great. Maybe we can work together in the future, but I find it working with a mark right after a job never goes real well. So, and I will gladly take that plot point, tabletop. Thank you.
Nice. So I'm gonna say to him, as I've walked up closer to him. How far have I gotten until he stops me? Or can I
You're
get
right in
quite-
front of him. He's
Okay.
definitely holding a weapon, though.
Yeah. I was gonna say, look, my friend, I have some business here, and I need it sorted. I need some eyes and ears on this moon.
It's
And
not
I'm
my
willing to
job.
pay- I'm willing to pay you.
You can find somebody else for that. If you want to give me this core pad, that's fine. I'll take it. It's expensive. It's not my
Well,
password, but I'll
I
take
would-
it. I'll put a new password on it.
It's fine. I recommend password X2.
I'll make up my own, if that's okay, if you're going to give it to me.
That's fine. Look, I want you. I don't
Okay.
take no for an answer.
We're going to have problems here? He reaches out his hand for the core pad.
No, of course not. And I give him a core pad, and I'm going to just like get the vial and smash it into his chest.
Okay, so as soon as you smash this thing into his chest, he instinctively grabs the core pad as you do this. And because of what we've already set up, you smash it in his chest, and he goes to pull his gun, and as soon as this hits him, you see him start to move, and the muscles across his face begin to fire as he
we turned
and
it
he-
into a taser.
and he looks, and blood begins to gush from his nose and down through the mustache of his beard, covering his white teeth and making them crimson as he looks. And as you look, Doctor, you can see the blood fill up his eye as his left eye seems to independently roll in and cross as if something has just popped in his brain. And as he's sitting there just jerking and looking at you, the Kyoto core pad drops to the ground and kind of clatters to a rest and you see him pull his gun out, and he fires 2 shots into the ground, and he just falls over and collapses as blood begins to pool from his ears and his nose and his mouth.
I take the gun, leave the pad. Well, I gave you an offer. I told you I don't take no for an answer.
You have a gun.
And I start making my way in the back entrance.
Okay, yeah, the door that he went in is there. So currently positioning, we have Harriet is on the second level in the back, 2 eyes looking at her. Doc, I need you to roll a physical and a sneak if you want to try to be quiet getting in here. And we're going to go with the same roll that we had before, which I believe is an 11 that you're going to have to beat. And then Lo Jiao Li, you are faced with one Grace Landers as she is staring at you.
How far away is she?
She's a good like 40, 50 feet. She's behind
Okay.
everybody, behind your car. You do
Okay.
notice too that as soon as you start talking, from inside the car, you see Elizabeth peek up in the back seat as she's looking at you.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, I'm going to tell Grace, Phil Landers was a very charming man, excellent businessman. I believe part of his charm came from associating places like this, Evestown, the border.
She starts to walk forward. Don't speak to me, bitch. I smelled something wrong about you when Father brought you home from this kennel. But you made him happy. So, I held my tongue. I was but a child. You knew how close he was to me. I spent half of my year with my mother and the other half with him, and it was in that half that I truly lived. Even here in Persephone. You see, he said this planet was named for me. Spent half of my year away from him, and half of my year with him. If you had let him live, he would have finally gotten full custody. We could have finally been together. I could have finally been happy. I am Demeter's daughter. And as she walks forward, she pulls out her own Kyoto core pad, and she says, "You will sign that moon over to me and return the money you took from my family, or you are going to die." And the men begin to pull, with those that don't already have them, they pull pistols out.
So I'm sneaking around up here. Any open firearms boxes just lying around? Maybe a guard I can punch in the back of the head and steal his. Yeah.
You don't see any guards that are close to you, nor do you see anything that's kind of lying around that would necessarily be a firearm of any kind. However, you notice two things. One, did you roll to see if you could get in, Pro? If you're going to be sneaky?
No.
I have something I don't really want to say out loud, so I'm going to message you really quickly.
Sure, I love those.
What do I roll to sneak in?
Where did you message me? In Zoom or?
It wasn't working inside of Zoom, so I sent you on Twitter.
Yeah, put it in Zoom because I'm.
Oh, okay.
I can't do all those things.
You just
at
gotta
the
message
Okay, I
host.
got you. It's coming as quick as I can. Host.
Sure thing.
There we go.
Yep, and then make sure that Pro, if you want to sneak in, it is a physical and it is a sneak. So.
Can you use a focus on this too?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm being generous.
You are. You're sneaky.
That is my ideal situation. If not, I'm still gonna be all around looking for.
I will tell you this: you can, but it's going to be loud, and you already have two sets of eyes looking back in that direction. I will let you know this, that we're just going to go ahead and say that you see the doctor kind of open the doors, the light creeps in just a bit, and from your vantage point, you can see him enter. No one else could presumably see it. And you also see that Elizabeth is in the car. You can see her, kind of the back of her. She's looking at Lo. Oh, yeah, the doc just, let's see, you have to spend a plot point, which you don't have, but you can spend your big damn hero die if you want to roll a d12 to make it super sneaky.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll roll a d12.
Okay.
One.
Okay.
I can use my thing, got your back. If a crew fails a die roll in your presence, step or double your next attribute on your next die roll. Because we're in the scene.
That means that when he failed that die roll, you are able to step up your next die roll. So what ends up happening is while you see him come in, the eyes of the two that were on you, he makes just a little bit of noise, or they see a glint of that light in the darkness, and their eyes go from up top where you are to down where the doc has just come in, and they begin to move towards him until they are right underneath you. Felix, what are you doing right now? You're just keeping the car warm, right?
I'm waiting I've got I'm in the cockpit. I have everything locked down. I have engines ready, and I am waiting to see the call that everything's gone wrong.
Okay, well, this is what you hear as the comm is still open with Elizabeth.
You also heard the pow of 2 gunshots, probably in an alleyway.
Right. You hear this as Elizabeth is giving you her play-by-play of what's going on. Miss Lo Charlie's here. She's staring at all of them. There's another woman. I don't know who she is. She's younger. There are 2 of them. They're going in the back. And you hear her kind of scoot around and look up. Oh, there's Miss Harriet. I see her on the top. They don't see her, though. I don't know what to do.
And they all have guns, and they're all pointed at us.
They know she's in the car already. Yeah.
It doesn't appear that they have yet. They know that she's in the car, but they were trying to get into it, but they don't. Doesn't seem like they have. They're completely ignoring her now.
There's a right. Can I describe to her what the ignition looks like on the car?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just say, sweetheart, I'm going to need you to do something for me. and I explained to her how to. I imagine, like in my head, it's like one of those simple touch start. Like if you're in the car, you click it.
Please, they have them on cars nowadays
Yeah,
where
exactly,
you can fucking hit a button. Like...
So I tell her how the touch start works.
Okay, now here's the main thing here. Would Lo have did we lose Lindy?
I think we did.
Might have lost Lindy. Okay. What we're gonna do is let's just roll a big damn hero die. Give me a D12 on 1 to 6. Yeah, give it a second, everybody. The cameras will pop back whenever Lindy comes back in. Give me on a D 1 to 6. Lo has not added the ident information in for Elizabeth. 6 to 12 she has, and the car will start.
Yes.
As the car is starting, I want to use the noise, if it's possible, to swing down, and I want to like wrap my legs around the head of one of the guys and try to like simultaneously kick one in the head, wrap the legs of the other, and like go for one of those throwdowns on the ground. And hopefully, this is where shit's gonna start getting heavy.
Right. Let me go ahead and start fixing these up so people can actually see your beautiful mugs.
Oh, I'm so excited and scared.
As you're doing now, I'm probably gonna cut like the gun, and I'm gonna try and do a precision like surgical shot at like certain areas of their body if I'm able to.
Okay, with precision surgical shots and whatnot, you're still gonna have to roll a shoot. So,
Nice.
whoops. It'll be a physical and a shoot, and we'll go from there. Let me try to get these fixed up so people can actually see you guys, which would be nice.
Oh man, this is tense. Okay, don't blow up the kid, guys.
Okay.
No, let's
so-
all agree that the number one goal is not to blow up the kid.
She's in the
I'm sure
safety car.
the doc's on board with that one. Okay, so let me get Josh up here, and then we'll go because nobody needs to see me. Oh yeah, it's Larlani. I'm just gonna pop you up in Lo Jiali for right now.
Could I add
And
focus on that as well, if possible?
no, I'm gonna make you roll this straight up.
Cool. Nice.
This is gonna be a straight up.
Eric is gonna be so mad he missed this episode. Have fun in Origins, you jerk.
Take that.
Got a 6.
I know what reference you're making. You're making the Rick and Morty reference.
Yeah.
Protect Elizabeth.
I'll use my hero die, so I've got no more plot points.
Okay, me boom. Sorry,
I'm so
everybody.
I'm just glad that I'm stepping up my attribute on this hopefully neck-breaking maneuver that I'm trying to pull here.
Yeah,
I was
you get
gonna
to step,
just
you get to step this up because of the failed roll, so you'll be good.
yeah. I was just gonna jump down and use like my boots to step on them and hopefully like collapse them and stand on their back and then start shooting. But then I realized I have no guns, so can't do that.
Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this then, as I got you guys up at least for a bit. So as you guys are in there, here's what I want. The car is going to start up, which is going to be a hellacious distraction for everybody. But what we're going to do is they are going to be... So here's how I want you to roll this, Tia. I want you to get Harriet to roll a physical, a fight, and you can step up any one of those that you want. You can step up the physical to the next highest die, the fight to the next highest die, but you also get to roll a D8 asset, and the asset's name is Elizabeth is behind the wheel.
Okay, I'm gonna step up my fight to a D8, and so for adding an asset would just be a D10.
Yep, you have to beat a 13 now. Oh,
So I add a D10 to my dice pool, correct? With that asset.
Yeah, with the asset you you add a D8 to your pool, as
D8,
that
there
is.
we go. Okay, here we go. Roll pool blur.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome back.
My internet's dead. I'm on my phone and I'm gonna have to roll physical dice.
Lindy, A,
Yeah.
we admire you. B, I told Elizabeth how to turn your car on. She's behind the wheel.
That's actually physical and fight for 16. It says it's still rolling. I don't know if it came through.
That's it. Yeah, we got you. So for 16, you drop down behind this guy, wrap your legs around him, and I will let you take him out if you so desire. Or you can just,
Oh, yeah.
You can like snap the old neck, or you can just choke him out.
I'll just choke him out. Let's try not killing people while we're on Persephone. I don't want to make a habit of this. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep,
you are
down
able to choke out and
Take his
other-
gun.
yeah, you're able to grab the weapon as the doc simultaneously gets his chance to shoot the remaining person. So, Doc, what are you going to roll here? We're going to use the same roll against you as a 13. These two were pretty fired up when they...
I failed. I got a 6 when I rolled.
Okay. So what ends up happening is as they come in and identify you, they turn and they're getting ready to fire. And as they fire, you need to react as they... Oh, with a complication. So they only get a 5. You need to roll a physical and a move to see if you can kind of throw yourself back out through the back door to avoid getting shot.
All right.
Give me a hot minute, everybody, as I try to figure out what is going on here.
What I miss?
Ooh, nice.
Felix got Elizabeth to turn on the car. I dropped down from the ceiling and
Nice.
choked a guy out, stole his gun. The doctor turned the tablet into a fucking thing of death and shocked Buddy to death, and like his eyes rolled inwards and he started bleeding out of everything. The kid's crying. And hopefully the Alliance
Elizabeth's
aren't on their way. I'm pretty sure she's crying in the car.
Oh,
Yeah, like I said, bear with us, everybody. I want to make sure everybody gets on here so they can play and we can finish up this episode properly for you. We'll take it all out in post. We'll edit and post.
edit and post.
Oh, like pictures there, like.
We'll edit it all out in post. There we go. There we go. Okay, I think I got everybody in there. Now, to recap, Doc, what did you get when you got an 11? Doc, you throw yourself back out the back as bullets begin to splatter around the door frame that you are currently in. And as those shots begin to splatter around there, you find yourself back out into the hall or the alleyway back behind the warehouse. The now like almost disintegrated as the skin is sloughing off the person back there. As you land on the ground, you're staring face to face with this man that you did whatever you did to him as he's laying there with the one eye tilted inwards and the blood running and pulling against the bottom of the pavement. You kind of look and just, there you are. Let's go into Elizabeth, and because Felix is guiding Elizabeth, here's what we're going to do. Felix, you cannot use your piloting skills. You cannot use your physical skills. You must use social to convey to this girl what to do in this type of situation and keep her calm. And you get to use focus. Those are the only two I'm going to take here because you're doing this remotely. You are Jaegering a little girl to drive a car that she's never touched in her life.
Oh no, like that's all I wanted her to do was turn the ignition on. That's
The
it.
car is moving,
okay.
and she has not stopped it. So she now has to drive the car low. You see behind the wheel of the car, you see her just kind of turn as she goes by.
Okay, what I say to her is simple. Elizabeth, the wheel in what side of the street? What
You
side?
have no clue which side she's
what side?
facing.
No, what drive? Like, is it left or right hand drive? Because
Is he
English.
British
you know,
or
yeah,
American?
yeah.
I would say this is a core world car, so it would definitely be wheels on the right-hand side.
Cool. I tell her
This is a
to,
Londinium special right here, so.
I tell her to grab the grab the wheel in the front right, and
I have it. You hear something smash in there, like it's just hit something. You're
turn,
boom, boom. I hit something.
turn it clockwise as hard as you can.
What's
That's
a clock? Boom! As it smashes into something else.
Turn it to the right.
Turn it to the right. Turn it to the right. And
Lo,
and-
you see your car bounce off of the stairwell, spin, and one of the guys that's kind of guarding you has to back up. It's not going super fast,
No.
but it's like
Yeah.
it's almost like a loose cannon as it's just rolling and listing with its on its hover sled. And the guys as they're moving away, but the entire time Grace Landers is just looking directly at you.
Okay. Can I?
All chaos is going on, and we're just staring at each other.
Yep.
Okay. Nope, that's wrong one. Sorry.
If it's a D6, that's or what's
Yeah.
your yeah.
I keep it. That's my social. Is my social is the same as my fight. Who'd have thought? Okay. That's a 9.
Okay, with a 9, and it is up against, it's a hard difficulty, so but all this is going to be is a D10. You don't have any complications going against you, as Elizabeth is pretty smart. So with a 2, you get yourself a
Can
bit...
can she have it? Can I give it to Elizabeth? Can she have the big damn hero die?
Absolutely. You're ceding the big damn hero die to Elizabeth. As we've established, Elizabeth is a very clever little girl. And she's much older than her age belies, as she has been through quite a bit on Perdition. And it seems like after a second, Felix, you hear a bing, bing, but you start to hear her talk to herself. Well, I know. Oh, it does. Oh. And then you hear it go to full power.
Do I hear her like adjusting the seat, checking the mirror? Like
You hear her doing something, like she's figuring out something. And as it launches and kind of reverberates, you hear it coming on live, and she goes, and as you're kind of describing, she's kind of, no, I have it. I have it. Like she's stopping you from talking to her as it comes up and spins. And lo, you see that as it spins, it is being controlled much more dexterously as this car kind of spins around and points towards you. And then you see the tip of the car kind of subtly turn and point towards the men. And she looks at you and raises an eyebrow.
I give like a nod as to her, but then I'm gonna start speaking to Grace again, so that Grace doesn't catch on. It's kind of like a nod into a conversation, but Elizabeth's smart, she'll get it.
There's
Well,
like gunfire and stuff going on. You're just like kids.
Right. As at this point, when you nod in that direction, Lo, Grace looks for a moment, and you see her eyes widen a bit. She starts to move and heads back towards the rear of the warehouse. And as she turns,
starts to move, can I throw my bottle?
Yeah, you can. As she's moving, here's what's going to happen. Several things occur at once. We still have one of the gentlemen that's been shooting at the doctor. We have a choked out gentleman beneath Harriet as she is just like Jean-Claude Van Damme in with her legs and basically choked off his wind. He's lying there. She's got his weapon as she dropped to the ground. Grace turns around just in time to see Harriet with a weapon, see her man distracted, and the three that are kind of watching their employer retreat turn just in time to see an 11-year-old girl drop the hammer. As the gas pedal hits all the way to the ground, you see Elizabeth's head disappear because she has to throw all of her weight onto the gas pedal, which is way below her line of sight.
She can't sit, so she's got to stand on the pedal and hold on to the wheel.
Right, so she
That's the
leans
cue.
way back and stands on the pedal, and the car revs forward. And we're going to have, since Lo is in charge of this, Lo, I want you to roll a social, an influence, as she is trying to impress you, and we are going with another hard roll. It's a 3. You're going to crush it as she's going to take out.
I'm having.
Go right ahead. Yeah.
It's a D10 and a D12, right? I'm just verifying.
Correct.
Pretty sure
Correct. Yep. Thank you, Digital.
Well, that's beautiful. That's an 11.
Okay, so as you watch, you're still staring right at Grace as she's trying to slip out the back, and you throw the bottle, right?
The bottle. Yeah.
Okay, so with that bottle throw, I want you to roll
Pop and throw.
pop and throw. I want you to roll a
Mhm.
physical, and I want you to roll a.
Do you want a mixology check?
mixology check? Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, so that's
So-
a no. That's a specialty no.
I know, a D6, a D10, and a D6. And we're going to see if she can... And since I have some plot points to burn, she's going to be using them, as she is going to try
I
to
have
get...
some plot points to burn as well, and some big damn hero die. So,
Oh. She only got an 11 and a complication. The complication for her
Grace.
is Elizabeth Clipser.
okay.
Oh! Can I roll out of the way so I don't get... Can I just like...
Somehow... Elizabeth has identified you and is kind of, as she kind of goes by, you see her sitting back real far, pushing down, and she waves as she goes by, like zipping into the three of these as you see them break like bowling pins across her. You hear one of the guy's legs break as the grav engine presses down on it, which is basically like having a concrete pole press down on the leg, as it snaps and you just hear it splinter, and the guy's screaming and lying on the ground as these guys have all just been taken out. There's one guy still up, and Grace has been clipped. What'd you get on that roll, Lo?
I just think she's gone again.
Is she gone again? Okay,
Yep.
well, what we'll do is, as the bottle is flying through the air, I'm spending my plot points to, damn. Lost my cameras.
Hey,
again.
you know what? It wouldn't be Firefly if everything ran smooth, okay?
Right,
So
things don't go smooth, everybody. So as the bottle goes through the air, I am spending a plot point as the game master, and Grace Landers jumps through an opposing window, one of the opposite windows out into the street. She disappears into the crowd as
Do I see? Oh, and that's a plot point, right? Them.
right, yeah, I'm using it so she can keep herself in the fight and get away. So she is going to get away for this particular exchange, but we will see. You guys are able to subdue everybody else, as no one has been killed, but they are all, well, except for the poor gentleman out back, but we're not sure who did that. He was like that when we found him.
Mystery.
Right? So as all of that kind of breaks down, you guys are left with this group, and it's right around this time as your group is making its way back to the Courtesan. You know, you've taken control of the car. You're able to, you know, the authorities eventually showed up and took some of these people into custody. But by that time, you guys were long gone. There was an exchange of a few words between Harriet and the members of the authorities, and they were able to, with Lowe's manipulation of money and Harriet's just sense of authority, you were all able to go back. And Felix, you see them come into the place there as they enter the cargo bay of the Courtesan, and you are all safe at home. But just as you guys come in, as a few minutes pass, we have one Badger show up. And as he walks in, very, not meek, he's gotten some of his swagger back, but he still holds a bit of that apprehension towards Lo Jiali. And as he walks in, still eyeing her, still very respectful, you know, nothing out of the ordinary, no impromptu or too forward or too knowing discussions. He comes in and he simply says, I can find out more about that woman, Grace Landers. Okay, but I got a job for you. It's on a riverboat. And that's where we'll end this week's episode of Tales from the Big Damn Verse, as the internet's conspired against us, but by God, we are able to wrap up the end of that tale even without our Lo Zhao Li, as we will bring it to a close for this evening. So as we are sitting there and as we have the progression of events coming forward, a couple things to announce. Eric will be back next week, hopefully, so will Lo Zhao Li. We will also have our first big damn guest star as Lord Conti takes on the role of 3-Gun Arizona Lee. And we will meet 3-Gun Arizona Lee next week as the group will be taking on the prospects of a riverboat robbery. So this one is going to be an extended episode that begins at noon. We will go a little bit longer into the day to see if we can get the whole thing done. It is entitled The River of Deceit. Also, just so you guys know, in chat we have somebody named Likes the Villain, and Likes the Villain would really like to play some Firefly RPG. So if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching right now live in chat, Likes the Villain is right there. I'm looking at him right now. Play some Firefly RPG. If you guys get together and form your own boat, we can meet. We can all play one time and have everybody meet up for a shindig, because this is a great game. It's a great system. The Cortex Plus system is narrative based. It lends itself very well to that. Lindy's back and we're all messed up again. But
where is she now?
Are you in a closet? She came to us from the closet. Can I just ask if I could have grabbed a gun or 2 or 3 or 4?
Yeah, you guys can pick up all the handguns that were there. There wasn't anything bigger than a handgun, but you guys were able to get a lot of the handguns and things like that. There wasn't any. The warehouse was completely empty, so there wasn't anything in there to technically like rob.
I just want the guns, and I want whatever's. I'm gonna have a gun permanently strapped to me from now on forever.
Gotcha.
Hi.
Hi.
I couldn't come back on the computer after my phone overheated and died, so now it's on an ice pack. But now the internet's back, so this is
it's okay.
We wrapped up the episode. We're taking off. Over and out. Over and out.
Oh!
Yeah.
No.
This is like actually talking to someone who's leaving orbit. This is great.
It's like somebody in space. Okay, so just I fear that we're going to lose the cameras again. So what we'll do is let's quickly go to everybody so we can talk to this lovely cast, see what they're going to be doing. But make sure you're here next week for us when hopefully the internet behaves a little bit better and isn't quite so goram awful, and we will be able to have everybody here. Eric will be back at full strength, and we will have our first big damn guest star as Lord Conti will come in. Finally, a thank you to all you guys, the followers, the cheers, the donations. Really appreciate it. Your love keeps us in the air, and it is a labor of love for all of us involved here. We love having you guys here. Chat is absolutely awesome. So as you guys are going around, let me talk to first Laurelania. How are you doing? How was today's episode?
Today was fantastic. It was a little bit more action-packed. I never thought I'd see the day, even in my imagination, where Badger would shit himself. It was super funny. I am Laurelania. You can find me here on Twitch under Laurelania, Twitter, MyTia Zimmer. And if you love seeing me on all these different shows over here on Grimjack's channel, on other channels, please take a look at my Patreon. I'm looking to get into more shows, but I can't because unfortunately I'm taking time off my channel, and you know how it is. But I want to fly the verse forever. I want to play all the video games forever. So I appreciate all of your super supporters. Patreon.com, my name. Thank you.
Awesome. Links in the chat, everybody. Please follow up Harriet, as she is the best. And so as we get into there, let's go over to Josh. Josh, Felix was basically Jaegering our little Elizabeth today to great effect with a well-timed big damn hero die. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm hoping that this is the beginning of someone actually being some kind of role model for her. But then she ran a load of people down. So I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. But girl knows how to drive. Step away from knowing how to fly. Might get some R&R. Get a new. I'm going to train her as a co-pilot. It's going to be great. You guys can find me online at Encounter Josh. You can also find me in a bunch of shows in the moment. God, I've got so much stuff going on. I'm in Turncloak's podcast. You can find me in the Cobalt Press's World Tree Burns. On Tuesday, I do a show with Lindy, and then I do Long March an hour after that, and then I do I need to get all of these times like sorted in front of me, and then I need to get a and then straight after Long March I go into the World Tree Burns, which is Midgard, and just absolutely amazing. You can also find me doing stuff on everywhere, and I've just been told that I'm in a new podcast, which I can't say anything about yet, but I'm super excited, and it's like an old crew that I haven't played with in a very long time. Lots of stuff going on. Find me on Twitter. There we go.
Excellent, buddy. Excellent. Pro, the doctor showing some common skills and perhaps some uncommon skills today.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was lots of fun as always. I always love jumping in the doctor's boots, flying with these great individuals. Thank you for running as always, Greg. Thank you for having me. And chat, you're awesome. You can find me at Pro Restarter, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. That's slowly coming up. You can see me playing on there tonight at 8:30 EST. You can find me on the Greyhawk channel, DMing a one-shot, Liberation of Geoff. It's a kind of a semi-connected adventure connected to Greg's campaign, Queen of the Spiders. So that should be fun. Mondays you can also catch me on the Greyhawk channel playing Matthias, same time. Tuesdays on Wonder GM channel every other Tuesday. You can see me playing Star Wars. Wednesdays you can see me on the Wondering DM channel as well, playing some Swyhander. And this lovely group on Fridays throughout the week as well. I also GM on my channel. Crazy stuff. Always busy. Love playing with people. That's me.
We're all so damn busy, which is beautiful, and I love it. Now, speaking to somebody that's not busy at all, that never has anything going on, Lindy, how are you doing?
That's a very good question, Greg. How am I doing? I don't know what's going on. And I'm so pissed at my internet right now and my phone. But I'm fine. Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to go take some deep breaths after this. And
it happens to the internet will conspire against you as much as you do on the internet. The fact that it finally decided now to do something means it loves you. It means that...
No, it hates me. I had a line and everything, Greg. That's
I know.
fine. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch and Twitter, doing all sorts of cool stuff. Sundays, you can find me here doing Pulp Cthulhu. Tuesdays, Tom's Tentacles podcast. We should have more episodes recorded soon. Tuesday afternoons, Greyhawk channel. Vecna Lives. Tuesday afternoon evenings, my channel, Out of the Abyss. I'm DMing both of those. And then Wednesdays, Encounter Roleplay. Call of Cthulhu. Wednesday evenings, same as Encounter Roleplay, but Star Wars RPG. Thursdays, Web DM's channel for Land Between Two Rivers. And here every Friday for Firefly.
Nice. And like I said, don't ever worry about the internet stuff. Everybody that is currently watching on chat knows that it's, or watching on YouTube knows what the internet is. When it goes out, it causes problems. We get you back, no problem. We'll get the story righted. We'll get that line in somewhere, even if we have to do a bit of a flashback. We'll take care of everything. And, this is part of being the streaming experience, and we get to do it live, and we love you guys, and we want you to make sure that we keep it here and give you a good story. But until then, my name is Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. Tomorrow, Saturday, from 2 to 4, you can see the brand new Pulp Cthulhu show that is a spin-off of my opus, Project Athena. Tomorrow's show is called Project Kronos, and it kind of follows the group that came before my Sunday group, which my Sunday group is from 7 to 9 on this channel, Project Athena, where we are in our 3rd season and we are doing some interesting stuff in the middle of pre-war Nazi Germany. And it is something else. On Encounter Roleplay, you can find me on Mondays for Atomic Cthulhu, Tomes and Tentacles on Tuesday. I have WebDM Starward Bound, which is a Spelljammer 5e on Tuesday evenings. On Wednesdays, I'm back on Encounter Roleplay for some Call of Cthulhu from 1 to 4. Fridays, I'm right here in the Big Damn Verse. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep telling these stories. We appreciate the hell out of all of you guys. And what we're going to do too is we might go ahead and we're going to raid Metamancer because today's her birthday, everybody. Yay, Metamancer. So if you go over to Meta, tell her happy birthday as I make sure I spell raid correctly. Hopefully I did that. So anyway, from this verse to yours, stay frosty, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Later.